Today we're diving into 10 Disney cruise updates you might have missed. First off, we have to talk about the Fantasy. Last week they made an announcement they have actually canceled 4 Fantasy cruisings for October and November later this year. This is because they have a dry dock coming up and there has been a change to the dry dock schedule. A dry dock is where they do any major cleaning, restoration, or even changes for the ship. This is a requirement, they have to do it, and this has changed 4 of the Fantasy's sailings. Those 4 cruises start with what was going to be the transatlantic cruise on October 20th. In addition, the November 2nd, 7th, and 12th cruises have also been canceled. They stated, quote, "Our Disney Cruise Line ships undergo a dry dock every few years for needed maintenance and refurbishment. Due to an unplanned change in the schedule, dry dock dates for the Disney Fantasy, the sailing is no longer available. As a result, the reservation will be canceled, and any funds applied to the reservations will be refunded back to the original form of payment." Side note, this is why if you use Disney gift cards to pay for a cruise, you need to make sure you have the numbers of all the gift cards, because if something like this happens, they are going to credit it back to that original form of payment. Now, of course, they're not going to leave everybody high and dry. They are going to reschedule these. So a revised 13-night transatlantic will be available to book beginning on February 6th. In addition to the refund, they are also offering each guest on their sailing a 20% future cruise discount on their voyage fare. And this just goes to show why I love cruising with Disney. Even when something like this goes wrong, cruising is a very dynamic industry and there's always going to be changes, and they don't have to do that. That being said, actual cancellation of a cruise, especially something like a transatlantic, is a big deal. I'm glad that they are offering this 20% future cruise credit. If you are booked on any of those 4, you should have an email. Make sure you check into that. Now, as many of you know, Disney Cruise has new ships that are coming out regularly right now. The most recent to have its maiden voyage was the Disney Treasure. This was in December. The Disney Treasure is the second in the Wish class ships. It is centered around the theme of adventure, and they really are driving that theme home in multiple ways on this ship. There are 4 major standouts from the Disney Treasure cruises. The first of these is the Moana stage show. Their stage shows are always amazing. This is Disney after all. These are Broadway caliber shows. But the Moana stage show is really taking people by surprise. It is the highlight of so many people's trip. I have seen so many people say they would literally take someone on this cruise just to see the stage show. They have amazing puppets, amazing special effects. Of course, they've always got great actors and great songs. If you are going on the Treasure, the Moana show is definitely one that is not to miss. In addition to that, they have Sage and Coriander events that are another thing you want to make sure you see. The Disney Treasure does have this unique aspect of the Sage and Coriander team. They are a comedy duo. They're going to do multiple events on board the ships, and cruise fans say they really do bring the laughter. The Plaza de Coco is also a highlight on the ship. Fan favorite for Plaza de Coco is definitely the second night. That's their Dia de los Muertos festival. The food is amazing at Coco on both nights from what I have heard, but that second night is definitely one not to miss. And speaking of not to miss, the absolute highlight that we are hearing on the Disney Treasure is the Haunted Mansion Parlor. Reports are that the Haunted Mansion Parlor hits on every single note. They've got cool, unique cocktails. They've got kind of a rotating, I guess you call it a show, that's going to have audio tracks, take you through a little bit of a journey. They're going to have effects lighting up on the walls. There's just so much detail in the Haunted Mansion Parlor. The Haunted Mansion is a huge fan favorite. They really did have to deliver here, and all reports are saying they really nailed this one. There's also a little bit of a scavenger hunt that you can find in there, and not surprisingly, it is very busy. I am hearing that they are having time limits, so don't expect to just show up at the Haunted Mansion Parlor during this inaugural year, because it's probably going to be pretty full. Of course, take the time to go there because it sounds absolutely amazing. Luckily, the Treasure is 7 days, so hopefully you can get in there at least once during the trip. Now, number 3, Bluey is coming to Disney Cruise Line. Bluey and Bingo are huge with our tiny humans. All Aboard with Bluey and Bingo started January 10th. These are setting sail for the first time ever on select Australian sailings. This is going to be aboard the Disney Wonder. Now they are also bringing Bluey to the Disney parks, so I have a feeling this is not all we are going to see with Bluey on Disney Cruise Line. Typically they will test something out on one ship, see how fans react, and then go from there. Right now they are starting this on the Disney Wonder. I do expect that they are probably going to roll this out to the rest of the fleet over time, or they might do something like the Marvel Day at Sea and Star Wars Day at Sea and then have some Bluey Day at Sea sailings. However they do it, right now they're having character greetings along with a possum dance party with Bluey and Bingo. Now number 4 took me by surprise. The Disney Adventure will have its maiden voyage later this year, and that maiden voyage is completely sold out. The Disney Adventure is another one of Disney's new cruise ships. This is going to have its maiden voyage December 15th. Now this is a ship that they bought 70% completed from another cruise line, and then they retrofitted it to be more like a Disney ship. This is their largest ship and is one of the largest in the world actually. They are going to have the Iron Cycle test run. This is an Iron Man themed roller coaster, which is actually one of the longest and the first of its kind at sea. It is going to have 3 and 4 night sailings. Once in a while they'll have a 5 night in there, and it will be based out of Singapore for the first 5 years. There was a lot of excitement over the announcements on the Disney Adventure, and you can see that reflected in the sailings because the Disney Adventure's maiden voyage is completely sold out. It is not available on their website anymore, and I don't expect it to come back. If you are hoping to get on that maiden voyage, just keep checking. It might pop up, but I think it's probably unlikely. In addition to that, their cruise over Christmas is also sold out, and all inside and ocean view staterooms are sold out for all of the December sailings. The Disney Adventure is meant to be a magic at sea sailing. That means the ship is the destination, and it's going to be quite a destination. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll let you know when we have more updates. Now, number 5 is the most exciting thing I have said all year. Disney Cruise Line is adding 4 new ships to the fleet between 2027 and 2031. This last month, we got some exciting new details about these ships. One of the 4 ships will be another Wish-class ship, like the Disney Wish and the Disney Treasure. And fun fact here on the naming conventions of Disney's ships. They will give the class a name that is kind of its in-process name, and then they will change the class name to whatever the first ship is once that's been announced. For example, the Wish-class ships are the Wish Treasure Destiny, a new one coming in Japan, and the new one that they just announced. In total will be 5 of them, although one of them is with the Oriental Trading Company, so it's not technically Disney's, it's with Disney. The code name for the Wish-class ships before they announced them was Triton. Once they did finally release the fact that the first ship was going to be the Disney Wish, then it became the Wish-class ships. I see questions about that fairly often, so that's our fun fact of the day. But the really fun part of this new ship announcement is that 3 of these ships are actually going to be smaller. Yes, that's right, I said smaller. So many people love the classic ships, the Magic and Wonder, and have been asking for Disney Cruise Line to do some smaller ships for a very long time. I truly did not think that they would do it. These cruise ships are expected to fall in between the Magic class and the Dream class ships. They'll be a bit larger than the Magic and Wonder, but a bit smaller than the Dream and Fantasy. The Magic class ships can hold approximately 2,700 guests, while the Dream and Wish class ships can hold approximately 4,000 guests. These 3 new ships will be able to accommodate 3,000 guests. So I think they really will have the feel of the smaller ships, but they're also going to have a lot of new technology. They are making these ships both lighter and more advanced. Now, there's a few reasons this is really exciting. The guest experience on the smaller ships is just better, in my opinion. There's less people, it feels less rushed, it feels more relaxing. going. And if you happen to be going to one of Disney's island destinations, obviously there's just going to be less traffic on the island with a smaller ship. In addition to that, they're going to be able to access more ports. With countries really limiting port traffic these days, this can open up a lot of opportunity for more destinations. If you want some more information about that, we really did a bit of a deep dive in our last news video. Now, number 6, the youth club ages. I think people might have missed. The Oceaneers Club and Lab used to be for ages 3 through 12. Oceaneers Club and Lab is now for ages 3 through 10, and Edge is for tweens ages 11 through 14. Number 7 is they have had some room service menu changes. We actually first reported on this back in 2023. It looked like they were starting to make some changes to their room service menus, and evidence is they have definitely done this. Over on Disney Cruise Line blog, he's going to have the menus for every restaurant on every ship, and he's got multiple versions throughout the year. So it looked like they were going to be removing some of the favorite classics like the BLT, the Caesar salad, and they have taken these off the room service menus. When they did the Disney Wish and Disney Treasure, they didn't have these on the room service menu at all. So they debuted a mix of new and old favorites on the room service menu. So I got curious to see if they had updated these on all of the ships yet, and there are updated room service menus from May 2024 for the Disney Magic and the Disney Dream. Both of these have the BLT removed. They also have the Caesar salad, the Greek salad, and a few other items removed as well. Some of the menus can get kind of old and stale on Disney Cruise Line, so it is nice to see that they are starting to make some changes. I'm kind of hoping that they will do that in some of the restaurants on the older ships. In particular, on the Wish and Treasure, they had these pies and pasta that are now available. Let us know if you've seen them on the Fantasy or Wonder. I'm pretty sure they've changed this room service menu across the fleet. Now, number 8, there is a new island destination for Disney Cruise Line, and if you have not made it there yet, or even if you have, National Geographic is doing a special on this island destination. This National Geographic is about a news story that is unfolding on the Bahamian island of Eleuthera. This is where locals and Disney Imagineers have collaborated on an ambitious mission, which was to create a sun-soaked cruise destination that is also a sustainable celebration of Bahamian culture, which prioritizes the local people and wildlife. I think that they've done a really good job at this. There is a bit of a walk on the pier, but there is a water station halfway down to help with the walk, and honestly, most people say at most it's about 15 minutes. If you think you will need assistance for the walk from the ship to the island, just let them know when you're on board. The reason they do have that long walk along the pier, though, is because of these preservation efforts. There's a lot of coral under there that they did not want to disturb. Fan reviews of the island is that it is absolutely stunning. This TV special premiered on January 17th on National Geographic. It will be available on Disney Plus and Hulu on February 17th. Now, number 9 is something everybody always wants, and that is a discount on Disney Cruise Line, and they actually have that going on right now. This is for new reservations and must have 2 qualifying adults in the stateroom. The 3rd and 4th guests, ages 17 and younger, are 50% off. This is a limited time promotion. If you're interested in it, make sure you check it out right away. In addition, they also have a promotion right now for 50% off deposits at the time of booking. You don't actually save money with this, but it's easier to get the cruise booked. If you're on a budget, this is a great way to do it. Typically, the deposit for the cruise is 20% of the cruise fare. With this promotion, the initial deposit is only 10%. Then you can pay the rest off. And last but not least, number 10, Mexico has a new cruise tax. This is $42 per person. Starting July 1st, 2025, any passenger who visits a Mexican port will pay a $42 fee. This will be tacked onto your port fee, so it will be included in the cost of your cruise. This was supposed to start January 1st, but the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association had a little bit of an issue with this. Now it will be starting July 1st. So if you have already paid off your cruise that was going to Mexico between January 1st and July 1st, there could be a refund to your original form of payment. And if you haven't paid the cruise in full yet, there might actually be a little bit of reduction to the fare compare if you were going to be traveling to Mexico before July 1st. Wow. The Cruise Association actually said that this $42 per passenger fee is 213% higher than the average cost at Caribbean ports. People do sometimes choose cruises to Mexico because they can be a little more affordable. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. If you like these videos, we would love it if you would support our team over on Patreon. That really does make a big difference for us. And if you want some more information on those 4 new cruise ships, make sure and check out our last news video, Disney Cruise News 2025. And along with those deals, if you are looking for ways to book a cheaper Disney cruise, I have a video all about that linked in the description.